Members of an evolving family are aware of their strengths, they're aware of their limitations, and they graciously practice the acceptance and the accountability for all of those, the good and the bad. This is important because, as we've discussed in other principles, it's really only possible to monitor our own behavior for change, that we do not have the responsibility or the wherewithal to change someone else's behavior. We can only influence. And so when we want to see change and we're frustrated that change isn't happening, we look to ourselves and we ask, what can I do to bring about a different outcome? How am I contributing to what's going on here that I don't like? How am I contributing to what's going on here that I do like? How am I contributing to what's working? How am I contributing to what's not working? How can I do this differently so this other person understands what I'm saying? Because I'm really frustrated that I've said this 3 times in the past hour, and it's clear that my son, my daughter, my partner hasn't heard me, and I'm feeling like a broken record, and I don't want to turn into a nag. How can I say this differently? And sometimes this is a process of asking ourselves questions, but very often it's a process of asking questions of the other person. How can I be a better partner to you right now? How can I be a better parent? Is there something I could do differently that would help you feel loved, understood, listened to, supported? Those kinds of things. Coming from a place of owning my own stuff. That is my goal as a parent. And not only because it's the only thing that I can do, I can only control my own stuff, but I also want to model for my son that this is the easiest, least frustrating way to have change happen in your life, is to look to yourself first, to be internally focused, and see that the internal change will eventually work its way out and have a ripple effect in the family or in the community or in the workplace or whatever group that you happen to be involved in. If I model this behavior for him, then it is my hope that he will eventually adopt it for himself, and he will grow up to be someone of strong character who is willing and able to accept responsibility for his actions and his decisions and his behavior, rather than play a victim. And I think you know a victim. It seems that we all know victims, and it's hard to listen to victims. We all have days where we need to complain about something, and we need to get something off of our chest and to vet and talk things through with someone that we trust. But there are also those people that complain about everything. Well, why can't I catch a break? This person never listens to what I say. Why does my boss do all of these things? Why don't my kids listen to me? Why am I the only person in this house that knows how to load the dishwasher? Why am I always picking up after everybody's stuff? Why am I the only one that does carpool? All of these things, very victim mindset. And as victims, we are giving away all of our power and all of our energy to someone else. And this reminds me of the saying about revenge being like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die, or it wasn't revenge, it was worry or carrying a grudge or something like that. Drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. That's what it's like, right? If you are focused on what someone else is doing, and this is something that's come up in other principles, you are removing yourself from any sort of responsibility. And that's exactly the opposite of what we want to do. We start with ourselves first. And then when we get to the place where we are ready to approach somebody else and say, hey, I have this concern, here's what I'm doing about it, and I'm noticing that this is happening. How else can I make a difference so that I can help us get to the point where we want to be? And own it. What part of this do you own? That is what a member of an evolving family would ask.